Be love, be love, be love. Whew. Let us just take that in because we're talking about navigating the tides of love, the tides of life, and we get to navigate. We get to navigate by being love, by being love. So I want to put flow and navigate into a metaphysical context for you. So, flow in the metaphysical context represents the natural, harmonious movement of energy within and around us, signifying a state of effortless alignment with one's purpose and going with the natural current of life without resistance. So, we can say that the flow of coming and going is the state of harmonious movement of energy within and around us to the degree that we are receptive to it. To the degree that we are receptive to it. Yeah. I love this visual. To the degree that we are receptive to it. Yes? Navigate in the metaphysical context signifies the act of finding your way through life's challenges and complexities by relying on inner guidance, intuition, or a higher power, essentially steering your spiritual journey towards a desired goal or state of being. So, navigation requires an inner compass, a divine guidance, a self-awareness, and a cultivation of a growth mindset. So I've been thinking a lot about the state of affairs of our country right now. And as I shared earlier, many people have been reaching out to me because I'm a minister, right? And so they reach out to me because they want some words of encouragement. They want me to confirm that we're not all going to hell. They want all of these types of reassurances. And I do what I do. I do what I do because I'm living my life in purpose and I know the power of love. But I have to tell y'all, preparing for today's sermon, I dipped my big toe into media because I haven't been dipping much, maybe my pinky toe. But this week I dipped my big toe in and I was like, what in the world? Or as Eugene likes to say, WTF. And it means, where's the faith? Where's the faith? Because all that I saw being reflected back to me had me asking that question. Where is the faith? What do we have faith in? So how are you navigating? How are you navigating the tides of life? It may seem to some that the tide is out, and it may seem to some that the tide is in. And tides, if you don't know, tides are caused by the gravitational pull of the moon and the sun on the earth. So my question is, what is pulling you? What is pulling you as you navigate the tides of your life? Is it love or is it fear? When the tide comes in or rises, it means that the water is moving towards the shore. It's called a flood current or flow. When the tide goes out, it means that water is moving away from the shore. This is called an ebb current. So there is what? An ebb and there is a flow. This mirrors our rhythm of life. Look to nature. How does nature navigate life when things get challenging and complex? What does nature do? I came across this quote, go with the flow but don't forget to steer. Go with the flow, but don't forget to steer. Navigation, y'all, requires steering. What would happen if you drove your car without steering it? What would happen? More than likely, you would cause an accident that would injure you or someone else, or worse. So, are you navigating, or are you allowing yourself to be pulled by the effects? Pema Chodron, who was the first American Buddhist nun, said this: don't let people pull you into their storm. Pull them into your peace. Don't let people pull you into their storm. Pull them into your peace, the ebb and the flow. What are your coordinates? When you're going somewhere and you're not sure where you're going, you might look at your navigation system, as Jan said, your GPS, but you need to know where you're going. What are your coordinates? So I'm going to narrow down what I believe and what I see as our coordinates right now. And I'm just going to keep it to the United States of America. Our coordinates right now are two positions: love and fear. Are you navigating the tides of life from a consciousness of love, of fear, of oneness, of separation? It comes down to that simply. It's not complicated. Love or fear, oneness or separation. So what I know is that the world needs people who know and navigate from the greatest force in the universe. You'll say I'm a little riled up today, but see, this is what happens when I stick my big toe into the foolishness. Because people will have you believe that love is weak, that love doesn't do anything. But let me tell you, if love did nothing, none of us would be here right now. Because God is love. And if God is love, then we are love. So love is not weak. Love does not cause havoc. Love orders chaos. Love is sane. Love is peace. Love is fierce. Love is a verb. Love unites. It does not divide. Love is you and me in action, because love is a verb. Love is a verb. Be love. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, and it was shared in that song, I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. Hate is too great a burden to bear. So we must navigate through these rough waters with enthusiastic engagement. We cannot sit by the sidelines. We have to be engaged in our own ways through deliberate, loving action and unrelentless courage. Unrelentless courage. So, will you be the one to stand as love at a time when it appears as if what is coming is a disaster and what is going is democracy? Will you stand and be love? Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote the book Conversations with God, he wrote another book called The Essential Path: Overcoming Fear and Finding Freedom in an Ever-Changing World. This is what he wrote in his book. Cognitive scientists tell us that all it takes is 1 in 10 people to emphatically embrace an idea, and the masses will follow. What then could just 1 in 10 people, what then could just 1 in 10 people to believe that the most wonderful ideas we ever had are true? It just takes a single decision. We're one decision away, really. But we must make that decision now. Nothing, not doing so, is starting to have on all of us a real effect. 1 in 10 people. That's all it takes. And what I want you to know, and what I want to remind you of, that guess what, y'all? You are the 1 in 10. We are the 1 in 10. We are the 1 in 10 who are embracing and embodying the truth of who we are. Remember who you are. Remember who sent you. Remember your sacred yes. Remember who you are. Remember the power of love. You are the 1 in 10 who is aligning with your purpose and giving your gifts. You are the 1 in 10 who ceases to be pushed by fear and instead embraces being pulled by a vision that is rooted in oneness. You are the 1 in 10 who has made up their mind to be a disruptor of the billionaires of separation and white supremacy. You are the 1 in 10. Ernest Holmes, that is, God is always God. When is God not God? Tell me. Tell me. God is always God. God is always God, and love is always love. So no matter what our emotional storm or what our objective situation may be, there is always a something hidden in the inner being that has never been violated. We may stumble, but there is always that eternal voice forever whispering in our ears. Be still and know that I am God. Some of us are just being still and not knowing. Be still and know that I am God. Ancient wisdom, sacred texts, they all tell us the same thing. Be still and know that I am God. Listen for that whisper, that still small voice that is beckoning to you to be loved. Our companion book this month is Stillness Speaks by Eckhart Tolle. And he writes on the first page, when you lose touch with inner stillness, you lose touch with yourself. When you lose touch with yourself, you lose touch with the world. Your innermost sense of self, of who you are, is inseparable from stillness. This is the I am that is deeper than name and form. We know what it looks like. We have so many examples of what it looks like when people lose touch with their inner stillness. We know what it looks like when people's inner stillness is overrun by chaos. By chaos. That is what's navigating their lives. Chaos. Don't get caught up in that gravitational pull. So, have you lost touch with your innermost sense of self because of the gravitational pull from out there? No, I see you, Fee. No, Susie. No. And I have to tell y'all, and some of my friends get really upset with me when I say this, but what is happening right now is not new. It's not new. It's just been, remarketed. right? I'm doing this book study, and we're using a book of Julia Cameron's. And Julia Cameron is famously known for writing The Artist's Way. It's a masterpiece. She's written many, many books. And so the book that I'm doing in this class is called Finding Water. And I was reading it last night, and there's a sentence that she writes that had me sit down, and I was already sitting down. This is what she said: creativity, because she's all about creativity. Creativity is a spiral path. We pass through the same issues over and over and over again at slightly differing altitudes. I'll read that again. Creativity is a spiral path. We pass through the same issues over and over again at slightly differing altitudes. Just think about your own life. And you believe, oh, I had this issue, I healed it, I'm good. And then 2 years later, wait a minute, I dealt with that already, right? Guess what? Same issue, just slightly differing in its altitude. Same thing here, nothing new, nothing new. It's the same issue that this country has had from day one. I'm a fan of Joy Reid. And those of you who don't know, her show was canceled on MSNBC. And so she was giving comments on Monday, which was the last day of her show. And I want to share just a couple of things that she says, because it resonates with how we are navigating. And it resonates with the truth that we pass through the same issues over and over again at slightly differing altitudes. This is the spiral of life. She said, we can learn from history. And then she quoted her colleague, Rachel Maddow, who said, history is here to help. Now, there is a certain sector in this country that wants to get away with history, do away with history, rewrite history, right? But we know that history is here to help. She went on to say that America has not always been a free country for everyone, and we have had resistance movements from day one, from the Native Americans fighting for their homeland, enslaved people fighting their captivity, from taking up arms during the Civil War, Jim Crow, Civil Rights Movement, the Workers' Rights Movement, the Women's Rights Movement, the Stonewall Gay Rights Movement, the Immigration Movement, and more. Movement. In the flow, we move. In the flow, we are in the stillness of love. She said they have all been versions of the fight to make this a free country for everyone, and to make this a true multiracial democracy. She implored us to not stop resisting, to not obey in advance, which means to give up your freedoms, to submit, to believe the lies. Don't do that. Even if it's scary, uncomfortable, or inconvenient, just keep saying no. And find creative ways to say no in small ways and large. What we do matters. I love Fee says, the cavalry is not coming, y'all. The cavalry is not coming to save us. We, each one of us, gets to save us and each other. Stop waiting for some white knight to ride in on a horse. That is in movies. That is in fairy tales. This is real life. We get to be love, the most powerful force in the universe. So we are being called once again. This is not new. Our ancestors were called, they answered the call. This is not new. We have to maintain our altitude in the consciousness of love and oneness. How are you navigating? What is the gravitational pull in your life? So I want to pause here and I just want to open the space to you all for you to share. How are you navigating? How are you at navigating now? What's your gravitational pull? What are creative ways that you are saying no and you are saying yes? Anyone can unmute and share.
Okay.
Rev Melissa,
Yes, Fee and then Rev Joan.
this is so relevant. It is so important. And I don't know what all is going on in the world, but you have me curious. We don't watch the news, but something's going on. So I feel it and I see little things on social media. What I am doing personally is to really be mindful to go within as you've taught us and to stay positive and to stay in action. This morning, before service, I went for a run. I made a post and it says, and I said that no matter what, if I'm happy, sad, conflicted, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stay in action because when I love on myself, it makes it easier to love other people and to love them where they are. And not everyone is in a space of love, joy, and happiness. And so when I'm met with that, it's easier for me to not take it in and to just still show them love in spite of and despite where they are. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Yes, thank you, Fee.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, beautiful. Rev Joan.
Yes, thank you. I've been following the news only because everything that's on there is expected to me until it honestly hit the Department of Education. I was thrown back a little bit because of the fact that that's so important to everyone is education, no matter what it is and no matter how old you are. I've been living and practicing and going through the truth in faith. I have that faith and that belief and that love that we shall overcome all of this. We have done it before, we're doing it again. And we have to teach. We have to speak and we have to teach. So that's how I'm still listening to the news. I was following Joy. I'm still following Rachel. I'm listening to all the things that I can catch on to and just sometimes sit back and say, that is really dumb. But I also know that you keep throwing stuff up against the wall so that people will turn their heads and look what just hit there. So my navigation is my truth in the faith, in my love that this is just a period of time we're going through. Thank you.
Thank you, Rev Joan. Yes, having faith as your navigation system is powerful. Anyone else would like to share? Susie.
Yes, I have a couple of thoughts. So one thing, because I am an educator, I'm an international educator. I work at a college and my job is to send students out of the country. So one of my students just had her scholarship canceled, or potentially canceled because this is for students who have high financial need and it's everybody, right? There's no other limitations to it. They have to get a Pell Grant. And so, I knew that it was like, it's on hold. They won't say what's happening with it. So the student, I knew that it was coming, so I was able to talk to the student the day before she got the announcement so she wouldn't panic. And I've already put in place on campus, we will cover the part that's gone. So
Yes.
that was my prosperity moment. And then the other thing is I have a lot of folks who I love who think very differently about what's going on. And the thing is, if we stay in our echo chamber and only go, oh, la, 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 I'm just going to pay attention to my part, like, we are never going to move forward. So to me, it's also having those very difficult conversations with people you care about, whether they're, family members or friends or, or intimate partners. So that's something else. That, and then of course, still advocating for Gaza, because if we don't understand what our country does around the world, the good and the not so great, it impacts us here, especially financially. When billions of dollars go out to create havoc and destruction, that drains us so that we don't get what we need. So I will continue to advocate for that, no matter that it's not, politically correct.
Thank you, Susie. Susie is an activist, and you can activate love in any capacity. It doesn't have to be your job. In any capacity, you activate love. Thank you, Susie, for doing that for the young people. That reminds me when I was at Tuskegee University with Zola last week, and several of the students shared that their scholarships were suspended. Full scholarships suspended. The president of Tuskegee got up and said, "We got you. Regardless of what happens, no one will be leaving this school because their scholarship was canceled." Be love. Who else would like to share? Let me check Facebook.
I'd like to say something real quick.
Yes, please.
You know what I keep thinking? Just like, I guess if you think about the mind is Maya, and I keep thinking about this as the illusion. And it's sometimes hard to think that consciousness is rising when this is on our visual. However, that's my personal thing, to not get sucked into what I'm seeing. And it ain't easy. And it's funny, it's in all kinds of things. I teach movement. Even when I have people on the floor doing these movement lessons, the idea is that I let somebody have their own process, and I get sucked into my visual, and then I try to fix. And I have to constantly remind myself, back off and give them their process.
Yes.
So
Yes.
trying to look at this like, okay, this is an illusion, but something big, and we're driving, it's under the surface, and just like that sun on a cloudy day that you can't see, but it's there. And y'all, your words, and Chris and Jan, and thank you. That's what keeps me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. And you're right. You're right. I choose to illusion. That was one of, I will tell you, when I first was introduced to science of mind, religious science, and someone said to me, "It's all an illusion," right? Something terrible had happened. And they said to me, "But it's all an illusion." What I'm feeling is not an illusion. How this impacts Black and brown people around this world is not an illusion. So there is a opportunity. If this is an illusion, then we have the opportunity to shift, to change, to transform the illusion. And not just for ourselves, but for everyone. For everyone. So what is the gravitational pull? Is it love that's pulling you, or is it fear? Does anyone else want to share? All right. See, y'all, this is what happens when that big toe gets in there and that in the news, because I'm with you, Fee and Sekou. I don't engage. People send me things. I appreciate it. It's enough for me to get a little taste. But this week, I really went all the way in. All the way in. And so I just did this for a week. I know people who do this every single day. Eat the news. So what can we do to support ourselves in navigating this tide that feels rough? Many people are being tossed and turned upside down. One of our neighbors, a couple of blocks away, their father was deported. Am I going to say to their children, that's just an illusion? No. Because their father is not there. That is a reality. So I get it. I get it. But what are we doing right here, right now to navigate this? And so I'm going to share a couple of things, and then Fee King is going to invite us to get up and participate in the movement part of the flow. Because I said flow is in stillness and it also is in movement. So one, let's talk about stillness. Non-negotiable, your daily morning spiritual practice. How do you ground yourself before you go out into the world? Go in before you go out. Love yourself so much that you will not, under any circumstances, spend some time within your universe. The universe of love, even if it's just for 5 minutes, be still with the presence that is always present. If people could spend 8 hours absorbing the news, you could spend 5 minutes absorbing the truth of who you are. No shade to anybody. Stillness, 1. 2, knowingness. Let us know that we are the 1 in 10. We are the 1 in 10. So we get to stay lit. We get to be that light in the darkness, right? Don't dim your light. Someone has a differing opinion. Someone sees things different from you. Okay, but don't dim your light. Don't dim your light. Be lit up, overwhelmed with love and positivity. 3, well-beingness. Protect your mental health. Join us in No Complaining. This is our 3rd week. No complaints. No complaints. I'm telling you, this week of my big toe being in it more, I was so aware of the heightened thoughts of complaints. So no complaining. Be aware of the gravitational pull of fear. And then put your cloak up, put that shield up. Like in Wakanda, shield yourself from the fear. Yes. You know, when I was in Egypt, most of the statues, many of them in the temples, this was their position. Wakanda forever, y'all. 4, rest. And this is a big one for me. Rest is resistance. Rest. And 5, movement. Stabilize and strengthen your core. Your core. It supports our whole system. Many of us, our stress hormones are on 10 all the time. So we get to use this physical body, this vessel, this temple to help us navigate. And so I'm so grateful for Fee King because she shares this gift that she is in the world every single day. So Fee's going to walk us through a couple of minutes of exercise to help us stabilize our core. And you get to participate. So this is not, like I said, it's not a spectator sport. So please follow Fee's instructions. Fee.
Good morning. Good morning, Congregation of Joy. Thank you so much, Rev. Melissa. I want to invite everyone who is with us on Zoom and YouTube and Facebook. This is going to be so easy and simple that you will not want to deny yourself this today and every day after. Because sometimes we think, if I'm 80, my core, it's a wrap. If I'm 70, ain't nobody got time for that. If I'm 60, you notice I'm going down and down and down because you can start where you are. You can strengthen your core at every age and every stage of life. You don't even have to get up right now. You can do it where you are. You can do it where you are. So I'm going to show you 3 movements and then we're going to do it together. I'm going to show you 3 movements and we're going to do it together. All right. So if you're sitting in a chair or you're sitting on the floor, you can do this. You can also stand and do it. So the first one is just scoot your bum to the edge of your chair or your bench or your bed. And we're simply going to drive our knee towards our stomach. And when you do that, you exhale. So again, I'm just going to show you, then we're going to do it together because we're going to do each movement for 30 seconds. So this is just a high knee. And now if you want to challenge yourself even more, the second movement is going to be a high knee with a shoulder press. Drive your arms towards the ceiling or the sky. And you always want to exhale on the effort, blow out on the effort. Now, the last one is going to be the most challenging, and you can choose to do it or not. And if you choose not to, I want to invite you to choose to just try it on, see how it feels before you think that you're not able to. So you're going to lean back. As soon as you do that, your abs are engaged. And we're focusing on our transverse abdominis. Those are going to be our deepest abdominal muscles. Drive, 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 drive. So literally, we're going to cover 3 movements sitting right where we are. Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yes. You ready, Sekou Wrights? Okay. So I'm going to just bring the camera down a little bit. Here we go. So the first one, it's 30 seconds. Abs are engaged, shoulders are relaxed, and begin. These are high knees. And at some point, I might go a little faster. And again, I'm not leaning back, so there's no strain in my lumbar. And I'm breathing. My shoulders are relaxed. My abs are engaged. That just means I'm contracting. I'm going to pick up my pace. We have 12 seconds left. 8, 6, 4, 2, keep going. Add the arms. And you blow the air out on the drive. So I'm driving my arms up towards the ceiling. I'm driving my knees towards my belly button. I'm sitting tall. And we're almost there. 10, 8, 6, 4. Slowly bring the arms down. You're going to lean back. Drive, drive. Now, for those of you who are advanced, maybe you work out regularly, alternate, yes. If you're not here today, let's be here. 8 seconds. 6, 4, 2, slowly come out of that. Woo! Slide down your legs, stretch your back out, your shoulders, your hips. Slowly slide up. Your body thanks you, your mind thanks you, and your heart thanks you. And the world thanks you, because when you do this for yourself, it makes it easier to be out in the world and show up for other people with love.
Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you,
Ashe,
Fee.
thank you, Fee Kim. That was good. That was good. You got me hurting over here.
Donna Marie, grab Donna Marie.
Wait. That last one there, that I was
Right?
like, really?
That's why
I was trying to.
That was
Amen.
good.
And I'm at a gym, Fee King. I'm at my son's gym.
Oh,
And look, and it makes no sense that I have not worked out in months, okay?
Well, you did a little bit today, and that was
I
only
did.
a couple of minutes. That was only a
Thank you,
couple of
Fee.
minutes. So we use this physical, our bodies must be well to navigate well. Our bodies must be well to navigate well. So thank you, Fee, so much. So we're going to close with a reading that Susie's going to share. And it's from a Native American elder. Bob Roth read this earlier this week, and it just really resonated with me. So I'm going to turn it over to Susie.
All right, everyone. This poem prayer is by Bishop Stephen Charleston, who's a citizen of the Choctaw Nation and a Native American elder. When they hate, I will love. When they curse, I will bless. When they hurt, I will heal. I am a servant of the light. I am not afraid of darkness. I will carry on with my work as a steward of this earth and of all her children. When they divide, I will unite. When they rage, I will calm. When they deny, I will affirm. I will simply be who I am, for that is what Spirit created me to be.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you. I'll include that
Very nice.
in the newsletter. Thank you. So when they rage, y'all, we're going to be calm. When they hate, we're going to love. We're going to be fierce, because that's who we are. And I just want to share, Susie wrote in the comments, the 5 things that I share. I agree. So pick one. Pick one. If it feels like it's too much, pick one. But do something. Do something to support yourself, to calm the nervous system. Too many are in fight and flight and freeze and fawn and all the things. We need to calm our nervous system. Use those exercises that Fee just lovingly put us through, and I'm still catching my breath from. So thank you all so much for your presence, for your consciousness. And so I'm going to share this song, and then we're going to move into our offering time. And I mentioned earlier that 2 songs today that I'm sharing are called the same thing, are titled the same thing, Be Love. And this one was shared with me from Sue Wicks.